Does it matter if you share or not?
Well, we're going to be putting this on YouTube.
Huh?
We are?
So.
Wait, like a visual? I didn't put makeup on. Wait a minute.
That is definitely going to be our blooper for the show. Hello, everybody.
Hello.
All right. These are your hosts, Sherilyn Dias, Haley Clark, Robin Lithgow, and, of course, myself, Leland Artra. What did I miss? I got everybody. Welcome to the Inside Cover Podcast. We really appreciate you watching. Today's question is, what can authors do to improve their sales? This was actually something shot to us from the Fantasy and Science Fiction Network. And we've been kind of pondering this deeply over various drinks and other things. And in the sheer form of true chaos, we're going to try and dig in deep to this thing. But we're going to try and improve our show speed. So what we're going to do is we're going to break this one up over probably 5 episodes where we answer smaller pieces of the bigger questions. So welcome to the ride. We're going to try and keep this one under 10 minutes or about 10 minutes long. However, I think the rules allow us to go to whatever length we want, but we'll try and keep it nice and short and tight. Probably 15 minutes. So the basic topic is our marketing. What do you need to do as an author? You know, frankly, authors are creative types. We also like to believe that if we write it, publish it, then we should all be famous and wonderful. But that's not quite the truth. So what we're going to do is we're going to talk about the 5 most common issues or mistakes that are being made by authors every single day. And so with that, we're going to just hop right into the discussion. So I'm going to start off by just saying, having been in various businesses, and I can tell you clearly that businesses succeed and grow only do so because they have a plan, and they follow that plan. They review it regularly, and they make minor adjustments on a regular basis so that they can take into account changes in the climate, changes in the marketing, changes in the world. And that's one of the things that authors are not doing. A lot of us are listening to podcasts which are ancient. We're reading books about how to become a best-selling author in the year 2000, and we're still trying to follow that marketing advice. And that basically means that we're trying to do stuff that doesn't work as well today as it did when it was first done by somebody else. I like to compare being an author to running a marathon. Not that if anyone's seen me, I've ever run a marathon. I'm working on it. Or buying castles in England for other authors. That's something that takes time. I mean, what you have to do is to be a truly successful author, you need to work on your skills. You need to produce new books, and when you produce those books, you actually need to have a critical element, and what that critical element is your fans, or also known as readers. And one of the biggest mistakes authors make is that they have a very poor launch. And a launch is when you release a book. When you launch a book, you need to do your research, make sure everything's prepared. Think of launching a book like setting up one of those big, huge gymnasiums full of dominoes. You spend weeks and weeks and weeks setting up this big, complicated pattern. You get everything in line. You make sure everything is exactly right. Then you push that domino. And if you've done it well, it just goes swimmingly and everyone goes, ooh, and ah. It burns, and it burns out. And then it's done in a few seconds. But that sets you up to do it again. And so then you just grab a broom, sweep up all the dominoes, and start building them up again. This is a continuous repeating pattern. What you have to do, though, is you have to find fans. You have to get people to you. And that means that putting a link in your book that says, hey, come join my mailing list is probably not enough. That's not being aggressive enough. You really have to go after it. So there's no autopilot. I'm going to turn this over to Cece, I think.
I'll talk about the newsletter building, because that is definitely something you have to do. Not only do you build it, but you have to keep them there. A lot of times you get on these tours and you get a lot of people to sign up right away, and then once the tour is over or the giveaway is done, you lose half of them because they were only there for the giveaway or anything like that. So you got to keep your newsletters fresh and entertaining, and find out who is in your newsletter that's actually reading your work. Keep it so that they want to stay there, and always continue building it. You can't stop. It's a never-ending cycle.
Of course, to have a newsletter, you need to have your email list. So, of course, everyone always says email list is the number one thing that you have to set up. I think out of all of us, the person with the best email list right now is probably Robin. Doing good with that.
And how do you qualify best?
The most active, and also I think probably the cleanest. You have some pretty solid fans on yours.
Phew.
What is the fundamentals of a solid author platform? I mean, how would you qualify getting people to be on the email list and staying happy?
Well, first of all, you don't want to be sending them too much email. And I think there's a difficult balance to find right there, because some people like to hear from you often and others not too often, but you need to send out an email at least once a month so that people don't forget that you exist. You need to try to involve your readers by asking them questions, asking them to participate in polls or games, answering your email with their opinions. And I've had a lot of fun with polls, and a lot of those conversations, the polls that I do are completely anonymous. So I don't know who says what on any of them, but they will sometimes write back to me and comment on one of the questions. And so that gets a conversation going. And if you've got a conversation going, you can build a relationship.
That's very true. I mean, that is a really smart way to go about doing that. Also, I think one of the other things that you do, which is really, really good, is on your website. Your website matches your email. I mean, you have a pretty solid brand, which you have very carefully crafted. When I see your email, I mean, first off, I know your name at this point, so I'm like, oh, something Robin, woohoo. But the other thing is if I'm just kind of randomly clicking through my emails and your email pops up, I immediately know there's no question it came from anyone else but you. So I think that's one of the things that you've done very, very well.
Well, thank you.
It's very simplistic elements. I mean, you're using color, you're using a little bit of style. That's very easy for you to maintain, but it also means that it's very clearly yours.
I think that's really important too, because you want people to be able to see. They're not going to see your face on everything, so you want them to see your graphics or your newsletter or your blog post or your Facebook page or what have you, and automatically know that it's you.
You've done that really well. Also, the other thing I want to point out that you've done that was really great was you put up books that you've read, but you occasionally send them out with your email, kind of like, I just read this book. It's really great. It has these interesting characteristics. That's a really big plus with fans, because there's no way anyone could write fast enough to. I mean, it's easier to read than it is to write.
Oh yeah.
So fans of our work are voracious. I mean, they want many things to read, and there's no harm in promoting another author if you're going, hey, this is similar to my work and I really enjoyed this, so why not?
Well, and that's kind of a playing it forward thing too, because if you promote other authors and if you tell them you're promoting them, the chances of them doing the same in return increase.
This is true, but I mean, you should do it altruistically. I mean, you should.
Oh yeah.
You should never expect a quid pro quo. I mean, that's
no, absolutely not.
That's not the thing. And then one of the other things that's really important is advertising, and you could waste a ton of money advertising. I think Haley has some thoughts on this one.
Yes, I do. Are we still just talking about book launches or just
book
advertising?
launches. It's setting the dominoes up. It's getting the book launch ready to go and understanding that it's got lots of moving parts. So, advertising is one of the ones that a lot of authors make a lot of mistakes on. I've seen people throw away thousands of dollars on a book launch that just never comes back.
And a lot of that money you don't really need to spend.
Exactly.
Especially if it's a first in series and you plan on making a series, it's best to put it all onto the first book, because that's the one you want people to lead in on a new series. And then you've got to stagger it so that if you go to your book promotion sites like eReader News Today, if you can get a BookBub, that would be brilliant. Some of the other smaller sites like Book Barbarian and those type of things, and you stagger them. You don't have them all on one day. You stagger, you have one week, one the next week, and then closer together leading up to the launch you'll have a couple, like maybe one on a Monday, one on a Friday, just to stagger out the sales. You will organise newsletter swaps if you know a few authors that don't mind pimping your book out to their readers and their email list. and you do the same thing for them, do a little exchange, that
Yep.
sort of thing. Because you don't have to pay huge amounts of money to do all this stuff. You just have to talk to people, make friends, help.
And influence people. Yes, that's
And just help. And generally, as you're saying before, authors are nice people. We will help each other out if
This is
people
true.
ask, without even an idea of getting reciprocation back.
kind of the wrap-up points on that one. I think are that marketing is an ongoing game, because again, this is a marathon. And you mentioned if you had a series, and I burned myself because I launched too soon. But if you have a series, a trilogy, or a 5-book set or something like that, you need to have at least the first 3 books.
Yeah,
fully
Sorry.
done, like through editing, covers finished, publication ready. And it is so hard to sit on that first book when it's done, because you're like, this could be making me money. I could publish this right now. This could be out there making me money right now. But the truth is it will make you far more money if you have 3 books ready to go and you launch them in a well thought out sequence.
But you can fix that if you bring out your other 2 books and then just plug all your advertising money into your first book to make that more aligned to readers who haven't seen it yet.
Well, I agree that the ongoing marketing is important, but I think that the book launch, the initial book launch of any new series is critical. And if you want it to catch on fire and you want to get that fan base,
Yeah, that's the rapid release series.
you need, rapid meaning like over 6 months or maybe over 4 months or something like that. But you do want to do that. So I think that pretty much covers this topic. Any last thoughts, anyone? Oh, getting crickets.
No.
No.
All right. Well, so we'll try and come up with a list of marketing ideas and stuff like that. And I think Azure Fire is going to be providing kind of its strategy around launching books and the book releases. So when that comes available, we'll let you guys know and we'll publish that. So that's about it. That's the end of the show. Thank you so much. Next show will be coming up, and that one will be the number 4 most common mistake made by authors about marketing. So we look forward to talking to you then. Hopefully we'll see it, and that's it. So have a nice day, everyone. For Haley Clark, Robin Lithgow, and Sherilyn Dias, this is Leland Archer, and this has been the Inside Cover Podcast. Thank you.
Bye.
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 There you go.